pretty sure, I'm almost positive, that from a sales perspective, Cinderella probably is a clear, significant leader. But I'll get into those stats in a second. Regardless of those stats, I do think that
if you look up rock in a dictionary, you'll see a picture of Lemmy, but underneath is a picture of Eddie. This is Trunk Nation, home for all things rock.
100% live, 100% real.
News, interviews, and everything you want to talk about in the world of rock. Here's your host, the one, the only, Eddie Trunk. SiriusXM Fashion Talk.
Busy day here on this Tuesday, 14th day of July, 2026. It is 3 o'clock Eastern. It is noon Pacific, and it is time for Trunk Nation. I'm Eddie Trunk, and we are hanging, talking rock music here as we do every weekday in the 3 to 5 Eastern window, live, and of course, anytime you want, live or on demand using the SiriusXM app. We are going to do a good old throwdown. And I just remembered I didn't do this. As many of you know, on Mondays, I do a show on Mondays only over on Hair Nation. And when I do that show on Monday, I need to change my phones to the phone number that we use over there. And then every time I come on the air on Tuesday, I forget to change them back to this show. So let me do that right now. That's why I'm thrown off here for a second. All right. I fixed it. All right, here we go. Now we're back on Faction Talk. All right. So anyway, yeah. Sorry about that. Just got thrown there by my phones being messed up. How to do that real quick. So anyway, we are going to do a good old throwdown today. Haven't done one in a while. Came up with this yesterday and threw it out there, and I really liked the idea. We had somebody call in, I don't know, a week or two ago, throw out the idea of doing a throwdown between Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet, and Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, the common thread being both albums that came out in the 80s, both gargantuan, really era-defining albums. And that's all true. But that one just didn't sit right with me because I just feel they're very different albums. And like I said yesterday, you could make the case that Appetite was almost a reaction to what Slippery stood for. And although both huge albums, different albums in that regard. So that one didn't work for me. But we went and kind of did a little research yesterday, and we're looking at the year 1986, which of course is 40 years ago, and trying to pick a couple debut albums that would maybe be a little bit more equal turf. And I came up with two debuts that came out in 1986. Cinderella's first album, Night Songs, pretty big record, and Tesla's album, Mechanical Resonance, which was also a pretty big record. I'm going to check the stats here in a minute, and I'll read you the tale of the tape. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive, that from a sales perspective, Cinderella probably is a clear, significant leader. But I'll get into those stats in a second. Regardless of those stats, I do think they're two pretty good debut records, both 40 years old this year. And I want your pick on which one you prefer in our throwdown today. Again, 844-686-5863. Now that I have the number on my end, I'll throw it out to you guys. Of course, you should know it by now. Make your pick. They're both great records. Obviously, that's the whole point of when we do throwdowns. Whenever we do these, the whole point of it is both are great, but you can only pick one and call in with your pick and explain why you are leaning that way. Again, 844-686-5863, Mechanical Resonance versus Night Songs, Tesla versus Cinderella, the battle of two albums turning 40. What is your pick in this very 80s-centric MTV era throwdown? We will hear from you and get your calls here on the air shortly. But as usual, we open every Trunk Nation by giving you your daily dose of rock news and discussion of what's going on out there in the world of rock. And as we go to air, I had several texts here a little while ago, and Joel just confirmed this. We have somewhat breaking news in the last hour, and that is that Quiet Riot's lead singer, Jizzy Pearl, who was on this show and in the studio here with us, I don't know, a year or so ago. He had put out a solo record. He came on. It was good interviews. You know, I know Jizzy, not extremely well, but I know him. And but he was good. He was real good on the air. He was. I remember that being a real good interview. Anyway, he has announced through his Facebook page about an hour ago that he is leaving Quiet Riot. This is from his Facebook, and it says, and I will read it to you. Hey everyone, I have decided to leave Quiet Riot. I will continue to fulfill all scheduled dates within my contractual obligations. As the old cliche says, I am moving on to new creative pursuits and projects. Things happen when they're supposed to happen. I wish the Quiet Riot guys all the best. That's it. Thanks. So it seems that it's amicable. He is going to do whatever shows that had already been announced and booked for Quiet Riot. And when those are done, he is done singing in that band. Jizzy Pearl has had a couple tours of duty with Quiet Riot, and he was really very, very good in that role, obviously replacing the late Kevin Dubrow. As you know, Quiet Riot, as currently constituted, and now for a while, has one member from the classic Metal Health era, and that, of course, is bassist Rudy Sarzo. So what do they do going forward about the lead singer spot? Do they continue? I would completely expect them to continue. You know my mantra, no band ever ends. So we'll see. But he's giving them some notice. He will, if there are dates that are announced that you're going to, he, as of now, is playing those dates. But Quiet Riot is now looking or needing, assuming they are continuing, a new lead singer, as Jizzy Pearl announces he is done with that band. The band also includes, besides Rudy, longtime guitarist Alex Grossi and Johnny Kelly, who replaced the late Frankie Banali on drums. Johnny, of course, from Type O Negative, among other bands. So this is news literally coming out about an hour ago with a post on Jizzy Pearl's Facebook page that he is moving on after fulfilling the remaining dates on the schedule for Quiet Riot as their lead singer. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on there. Some other things to tell you guys about. I watched the documentary on Mastodon that I talked about yesterday on YouTube this morning. It's only about a half an hour long. It's called The Mastodon in the Room. And it's very much about their late guitarist, Brent Hinds, and that is how it's pronounced because I heard the guy say it in the doc, who passed away last year when he was in a motorcycle accident. But as I mentioned yesterday when I talked about this documentary coming out, and it's very much like a mini doc, you know, there was a lot of weird stuff that went on there in the end, because if you recall, Brent Hinds was let go from Mastodon, a band that he was a big part of. And then afterwards, it initially seemed like it was amicable. And then afterwards, he went on social media and laid out the other guys in his band. And to Mastodon's great credit, this documentary mini doc about him is not at all like a fluff piece. It's very, very honest if you watch it about what went on and what led to his dismissal from the band. I did not know Brent Hinds. I met him once or twice. I know some of the other guys in Mastodon, Troy and Braun, better. And apparently, as is revealed in this YouTube mini doc, he had a serious drinking problem, which led to him having issues personality-wise with the guys and issues even in his performance and being capable of performing these shows as the band got bigger and maintaining a certain level as a player and a singer after basically drinking every night, all night. And it really, the other guys who were partiers as well, as the band started to really grow, realized, hey, we got to get a little more serious about this and really commit to this because we have a real career going here. We don't want to blow it and don't want to be another rock and roll casualty. So where they reeled some of that in, Brent was never able to do that. And his excessive drinking and issues that came with that because of his personality and his ability to play really started to impact the performance. And that's when the guys said, we got to make a change here. They did mention in this as well that, he said some stuff about them, talked shit about them on the internet, but they just chalked that up to him being him. And they kind of rolled that off their back and knew that he was just hurt that he wasn't in the band and decided to say some stuff and just kind of ignored it. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because, to their credit, they are very honest about everything that went on with them and him, and they are certainly, without a doubt, feeling his loss and had a 25-year working relationship and friendship with the guy as a bandmate. So it's not, that is certainly reflected in there, and the loss of it on them personally and all of that, and musically. But they also don't sugarcoat the fact that he was a guy that had his issues, and those issues really were what were at the core of the problem and what led to him being out of the band. So it's a very transparent semi-eulogy, semi-documentary about Mastodon and their relationship with their late guitarist and where they're at now. Basically what they do is Bill, Braun, and Troy, the three surviving members of the band, go into a movie theater in Atlanta, where they're from, and they put up a bunch of old footage of Brent Hinds, and they run through it, and they talk about it a little bit, and they laugh, and they tell some stories, and then it cuts to them watching, and they give insights and stories about it. So it's free on YouTube if you're interested in this. It's called The Mastodon in the Room, and it's definitely worth a watch to get more insights on this. Of course, we talked yesterday about Mastodon with new music, tour coming up. I had Braun Daler's phone number, and I texted him earlier today offering him to come on the show and talk about all of this. He literally just got back to me a few minutes ago, said, absolutely, we'll work that out. So expect some of those guys to be on the show. We've had them on in the past, in the near future. Of course, new music and all that stuff coming up as well. Also wanted to mention there is a documentary on HBO on the festival Burning Man, which takes place in the Nevada desert. It's been going for about 25 years. If you've never heard about Burning Man, it's not real. There's certainly a music element to it, but it's really just this trippy, I don't know what. They burn a guy. It's a community. They build a town out in the middle of the desert. It's a pretty not something in a million years that I personally would have an interest in attending, if I'm being honest. And anyway, but it's fascinating, and it's fascinating how big it has become over the years. And it is the subject of a new documentary series that is on HBO talking about the origins of it, the growth of it. And it also centers a lot on the year 2000 and 2001, where they did not do it. I think it was 2001 they didn't do it because of COVID. And then some of the people went out there and wanted to do it anyway. It's a whole thing. So if this is of interest to you, I watched the first episode. There's a new one every Thursday. They're rolling it out every week. That is available now on HBO. Other news to tell you about. This is kind of surprising. And came out just earlier today. Iron Maiden are the latest band to do one of those, we've been talking about these for years now, one of these big sellouts to another company to own their name, likeness, logo, images, music, catalog clearances, the whole thing. We have been talking about this. You see it so much with older bands. This really got a lot of heat a few years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, with a British company called Hipgnosis, not to be confused with the company that does album art, who was setting historic numbers, buying people meaning musicians, artists, catalogs, name, likeness, historic amounts of money that they spent on buying up artists' catalog and their whole shebang, the whole thing. That company, I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but they have not been at the forefront much. But in recent years, other companies have emerged to do this. A company called Primary Wave, who we had the CEO on once talking about this. And of course, a few years ago, a company called Pop House, which is actually owned by one of the members of the band ABBA. And Pop House developed the ABBA hologram, which has been immensely successful with a theater or a venue built just for it in England. In the rock world, Pop House came into prominence a couple years ago when they basically bought Kiss, lock, stock, and barrel. Something, again, most people would have never envisioned a band like Kiss, Gene and Paul, selling everything. The makeup, the images, the branding, the part of the catalog, the whole thing. But they did. They got a reported $300 million for that. And again, you see this more and more, and mainly with older artists who are at least 40, 50 years into their career. Why? Well, again, not to be morbid, but they are seeing the end of the runway. And they are also seeing the end of how much they want to deal with maintaining their brand. And most of them might not be touring or playing anymore or making new music. And the thought is, why don't we just cash out, get a big lump sum payment, and ride off into the sunset? So now Iron Maiden have done that. The terms of the money have not been disclosed, so we don't know what Pop House paid. But this has been reported by Billboard, Variety, several industry trade magazines today, that Iron Maiden have done this. Now, there's a big difference here with what Maiden did. Maiden only sold 50%. So they still have half. They still make and control half. So they are essentially partners with Pop House. Knowing Iron Maiden, knowing their camp, knowing Rod Smallwood, that does not surprise me at all. Because Maiden are notorious control freaks. So I don't know, I don't care how many hundreds of millions of dollars, the idea of Maiden, giving up everything and just relinquishing everything would be very, very surprising to me. And in fact, that is not the case. They gave up half. So they still exercise a lot of influence and control as to what happens with their material going forward. But still, it's a big thing because one of the big things that Pop House now has a say in and acquired half of is Eddie. One of the most recognizable images and mascots in music. And make no doubt, again, they are going to exploit this. You may see some stuff happen with Iron Maiden or them start to pop up in places that you would not expect. Maybe a Maiden slot machine or something like that. I don't know. Because again, when these companies pay hundreds of millions of dollars for half or all of these artists' name, likeness, catalog, they got to make the money back. Whole point is to monetize it. So pretty interesting news here. They also revealed that one of the first projects is a film that is being shot on Iron Maiden's current Run for Your Lives tour. We know they shot a bunch of stuff in France a week or so ago. Expect a major theatrical premiere of Iron Maiden in movie theaters with a concert film for the current tour, which is coming to America very soon. So Maiden, 50% cashing out, selling to the same company that now controls Kiss, among other bands and brands, Pop House. There was a lot of criticism, not necessarily, maybe criticism is not the right word, but there were a lot of people that I talked to in the industry when Pop House did the deal with Kiss that felt like Pop House did not really understand Kiss and really had no idea what they were getting or what they should be doing with their $300 million investment. They ended up putting together panels of Kiss fans to talk to them and Kiss podcasters. They did not have an American presence, but apparently they do now. They hired someone, actually, I heard, based here in Vegas that used to work for a casino to kind of be their U.S. person, trying to get more information about what to do with the Kiss brand. It's pretty incredible to think you would buy something for $300 million and not entirely know it inside out, but that was one of the knocks on that deal. And on the Kiss front, the catalyst for Pop House buying the Kiss brand at the time was this hologram, much like they did with ABBA to great success. But to my knowledge, there has been no definitive plan for the Kiss hologram now a couple years removed from it being announced. I'm sure that it's still in the works, but nothing concrete revealed on that. Queens of the Stone Age released a new single today called Easy Street. They are touring with Foo Fighters. The latest entry, today's entry in the No Band Ever Ends sweepstake is Candlebox. Their singer Kevin Martin was on this show a few years ago talking about their farewell tour. Today they announced another tour called the Can't Quit You Tour. Dates September 17th through October 30th. Our latest in the daily NBEE, meaning bands that have announced farewells and announced tour dates and additional dates literally within a year of the farewell in some cases. Mark Tremonti, who does an incredible job singing Frank Sinatra. I saw him do it on the latest Summer of 99 cruise. It's incredible. Mark has announced 2 shows in December with Tremonti Sings Sinatra. They are in St. Charles, Illinois on December 16th at the Arcada Theater, where I just was. Incredible venue for that. And also December 18th in Orlando. Right now, just 2 dates. All proceeds from these shows go to Down syndrome. So good stuff here from Tremonti. I understand that Sinatra is not necessarily a rock thing, but you got to see Mark do this. It's pretty amazing, and he actually uses Frank Sinatra's, some of his actual band. It is a full orchestra. Everything's live. It's incredible. So if you happen to be in Illinois or Orlando, mark those dates if you are interested in seeing Tremonti sing Sinatra. Again, all the money goes to a great charity as well. A couple other notes here, and then we'll get to our throwdown today. The Vegas Rocks Awards were announced today here in Las Vegas. It is something that is done by, well, there used to be a physical magazine called Vegas Rocks. Now it's just an award show and online. It's going to happen September 20th at the Orleans Casino here in Vegas. Attendees announced include Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan, and Michael Anthony. Also, Cradle of Filth have announced a U.S. tour today. We had Danny Filth on this show a year or so ago, September 29th through October 28th for those dates. Soulfly with a run of U.S. dates announced today, September 19th through October 15th. And finally, Nickelback announced a new album today called Everything Under the Sun to be released on October 30th. The first single, called Rattle the Cage, is out now, and it features a guest appearance from our buddy John Five. And one other note, and it has nothing to do with music, but it is I can't stop watching it. And you guys have probably seen it, because I don't know how you could avoid it. This guy that got attacked by a bison in Yellowstone, if you've not seen it, you got to be under a rock. It's basically on a loop on every newscast. It's all over social media. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And if you haven't seen it, now I got to find out. Joel, you've seen this, I'm assuming, right?
I'm scrambling right now to go see this.
You have not seen it?
No, I'm clearly part of the group of people living in a box. I'm running now to see this.
What's incredible is everyone's laughing about it, and I'm laughing about it right now because it literally looks like a cartoon. But I hope the guy didn't get hurt, because I don't know how he didn't get hurt, but everyone who watches it, and even the newscasters who are running it, they laugh because it's so ridiculous. But the guy he is not a young guy, and he's thrown in the air like 8 feet.
Yeah.
You saw it. Now you saw it.
Yep, in real time right now. Wow. He got up there.
I have not seen any article about it if he was hurt. I don't know how he wouldn't be hurt, because that guy is easily 65 years old, 70 years old when you see him up close. I mean, sorry if he's not that old, but he's got a big gray beard. And this guy, who I guess he took, I don't know if his nephew or something, to Yellowstone Park, and there's a bison, and I guess the bisons are in heat right now, and he takes a photo of it, and then a truck drives by, and the bison just starts getting all lathered up and then runs at him, and then the guy weaves through trees to try to throw the bison's path off, because the bison must weigh 1,000 pounds, but the thing's quick and maneuvered. And then it finally gets in line with him and throws him. I swear to God, it looks like a cartoon. It definitely looks like something you'd see in Jackass. Something you see Steve-O doing or something. But the crazy thing is, the way he goes in the air, he spins like once. It is totally looks like something that would be AI or a cartoon. Joel, have you seen anything about his condition? Is he okay?
Number of broken bones. Doesn't say which bones or, if he's still in the hospital or whatever. But according to Fox News, he's suffered a couple of broken bones.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how he wouldn't. But, I mean, he got out. If that's all he's out, he got out unscathed. But it's just so crazy and ridiculous that the image of it looks like something that you'd see literally like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. I mean, I thank God the thing didn't trample on him or he'd be dead or maul him or something or push into him. The thing's got to be 1,000 pounds. Crazy. And by the way, last thing on this. The initial thought would be like, well, that's what he gets for messing with animals in the wild, and you should leave him alone, and he shouldn't have been there. All the experts said the guy actually did nothing wrong. He actually did everything right. Apparently, not that many of us are going to confront bison, but apparently the rules of Yellowstone are that you can see bison, you can take photos of them, but you should stay 20 to 25 feet away. This guy was doing all of the normal things. He was totally within that range. He was not approaching it. He was not trying to pet it. He was not trying to take a picture with it. Truck goes by, the thing goes crazy. It's wild. Well, I'm glad I brought it up because Joel didn't see it. Maybe you didn't either. It's so nuts. It's like the most viral video of the last 24 hours. All right, let's get to what we're doing today. By the way, tomorrow on the show, we have a couple guests. We have Adrian Vandenberg, former Whitesnake guitarist, and of course his own band Vandenberg, calling in. And it's a guitar virtuoso day. We've got Adrian, and we also tomorrow have former Ozzy and David Lee Roth guitarist Joe Holmes calling in. So back-to-back interviews with, in a lot of ways, very underrated, but great guitar players and accomplished guitar players on tomorrow's show. Okay, let's do let me give you the tell of the tape. So today is a throwdown day. As previously mentioned, 2 albums, both turning 40 years old this year, pitting them against each other. Tesla's Mechanical Resonance versus Cinderella's Night Song. Both debuts, both released in 1986, so both turning 40 years old this year. We'll start with Tesla. The album was released on December 8th of 1986, so it's still a few months before it actually is 40 years old. That's also pretty surprising because usually the rule, even certainly back then in the record store era, was you didn't release records that late because they'd get lost in the holiday shuffle, but for some reason they did. The album features 12 tracks: Easy Come, Easy Go, Coming at You Live, Getting Better, Too Late for Love, Rock Me to the Top, We're No Good Together, Modern Day Cowboy, Changes, Little Susie, Love Me, Cover Queen, Before My Eyes. Of course, made by the original lineup of the band: Jeff Keith, Frank Hannon, Tommy Skeoch, Brian Wheat, Troy Luccketta. Of that original lineup, the current version of Tesla has 3 members still: Jeff, Frank, and Brian, of course. Let's see, in terms of peak position on the Billboard charts, it peaked at number 32 on the top 200. Now, this is where Joel can maybe help me out, because according to Wikipedia, the certified sales of this record are 1 million copies certified at platinum.
Still the case. Last certified in 1989, according to RIAA.com.
So there you go, though. There's the big thing. 1989. Again, we see this all the time. This record hasn't been recounted in over 35 years. So it's probably more than double that now. So it's probably somewhere around 2 million copies. Trying to see the singles from the album. Modern Day Cowboy, which was the first time I ever heard and saw Tesla when that video came on MTV. Little Susie, and Getting Better. So there's the story of Tesla. We swing over to Night Songs, which is past 40 years old because it was released on June 9th, 1986. So it is now officially 40 years old. A much shorter album than Mechanical Resonance. Mechanical Resonance running time 53 minutes. Night Songs 36 minutes. Produced by Andy Johns, legendary producer. Mechanical Resonance, or Tesla, by the way, was produced by Steve Thompson, Michael Barbiero, who also had an incredible success, certainly in that era. Track listing: Night Songs, Shake Me, Nobody's Fool, Nothing for Nothing, Once Around the Ride, Hell on Wheels, Somebody Save Me, In from the Outside, Push Push, Back Home Again. All songs written by Tom Kiefer. The lineup on the credits and the album cover: Tom Kiefer, Jeff LaBar, Eric Brittingham, Fred Coury. The drums on the album were actually performed by Jody Cortez. Fred Coury did not actually play on the record. He joined too late, so he made the album cover, but he did not actually play on the album. Also, some other guest appearances on the record, including John Bon Jovi, who had a hand in bringing Cinderella to the forefront. Chart positions. In the U.S., on the Billboard charts, it peaked at number 3, Night Songs. So about 30 points higher than Tesla in its top position. According to Wikipedia, certified 3 million copies. When was that last counted?
1991.
So again, over 30 years. I mean, you got to think, if this album was certified at 3 million and a new tally has not been done in over 30 years, you got to think it's at least at 4 to 5 million at this point. I mean, I think you can easily add 1 million, even though there was a huge drop-off, obviously, and we had the whole drought for this kind of music through the 90s and 2000s. You got to think there's at least an extra 1 million here when you factor in the new analytics of streaming and all of that. So I would say, just guesstimating, you're going to put Night Songs at around 4 million, Mechanical Resonance maybe around 2 million. So, Cinderella, as I speculated on, with a very, very sizable lead in terms of sales. Singles from the album: Shake Me, Nobody's Fool, and Somebody Save Me, all staples on MTV. So both albums had 3 singles released. Night Song sold a whole lot more. Mechanical Resonance is the longer album, different record labels. So the common thread being that these were both albums released in the 80s, both turning 40 years old. I think we can both agree, incredible records. I remember, my recollections on these records. I'll never forget getting an advance cassette, working in the industry at the time of Night Songs, looking at the cover, tossing it on my desk and being like, oh, just another glam band because they are super glammed out on the cover. And then somebody said to me, did you actually listen to that Cinderella record yet? And I go, no, not yet. And they said, you should put it on. It's way heavier than you'd expect from the cover. I said, really? They said, yeah, it sounds more like could be AC/DC or something than what the cover looks like. Because the cover looked like it was going to be a super commercial, super produced, super glammy sounding record. And then you put it on and you hear Night Songs like, whoa, this is heavy and dark and not at all what they look like image-wise. Musically, not at all. And then with Tesla, I was working at Megaforce when that record came out. I remember sitting in Johnny Z's living room. We always had MTV playing in the background. And then all of a sudden, this band comes on who were completely not glammy. You know, it's funny because Tesla always gets thrown into the hair metal category. They were never that. And that was one of the things that jumped out at me when I saw a Modern Day Cowboy. I'm like, whoa, who are these guys? They're out there rocking in jeans and T-shirts and dueling guitars, drummer laying down a killer pocket, great vocal. I mean, when I saw Tesla and heard Modern Day Cowboy, I was like, whoa, this is my kind of stuff right here. Because it was a breath of fresh air at that time when there was so much super produced, you know, poppy metal sounding stuff. This was more of an organic sounding hard rock band. And then I immediately went and sought out the record and was literally been a fan since day one on them. So again, both great records, a little different, but both from the same era, both dominated on MTV, Cinderella much more, as we just learned from the stats. We are going to do our throwdown. So let's go to a break. And when we come back, you can only pick one. What's your pick? What's your reason? As usual, when we do this, we'll keep a tally on the air and see where we're at the end of the show, just before 5 Eastern. But I will then go to my Twitter/X account, as I hopefully will remember to do right when the show ends. And I'll put the poll up on there for others to vote and for you to vote if you don't get through. And then tomorrow we'll have a real reading on where these records land in this throwdown today. We'll get into it with you guys on the phones next, right after this break.
And now, the Trunk Nation Throwdown.
Finally, sterling, pristine audio.
Eddie throws 2 albums into the ring of public opinion for the ultimate hard rock and metal showdown.
The full album.
Who will come out on top?
We'll see what happens.
Here's your host, Eddie Trunk.
Joel and I are still laughing during the break about the bison attack thing. Again, I hope the guy's all right. I hate to laugh, but it's just so ridiculous. If you've seen it, you understand. He's weaving through the trees, the thing's snorting, going at him. Then he thinks he's in the clear, and then he just flies in the air, like arms extended, legs extended, flips one time. It literally looks like Wile E. Coyote or something. God. I mean, I'm good with not, you know, I'm not engaging with wildlife. I'm good. I'm good sitting in my house. But man, I do hope the guy's okay. But it was crazy. You know what we're talking about if you saw it. I don't know how you couldn't see it. I can't believe Joel didn't see it. All right, let's get to it. Throwdown time. Night Songs versus Mechanical Resonance. Let's dig right in. Frank in Florida gets us started. Go ahead, Frank. You're on the air.
Hey, good to talk to you. This is a tough one.
That's the whole idea.
I saw Cinderella open up for Kicks in spring of '86, before the album came out, and I thought, these guys sound like Aerosmith. I really wasn't impressed. A few months later, impressed. And then Tesla comes along that summer, puts that out, I can remember where I was when I heard Modern Day Cowboy. Blew me away. And I didn't get the album until after I saw them live, and they hit me over the head with Coming At You Live. And just
So
the
what's your
sound
pick?
of that snare drum. Mechanical Resonance in a tough one.
That's the
Kiefer is
whole
still
idea.
awesome. Sorry, Tom, but
Thank you, Frank.
That's
I'm
what
going
it
to
is.
move.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. I'm going to try to move quick today to get as many people in as we can so we can get a big sample size. But we open with one in the check mark for Tesla. And yes, as Frank said more than once, it's a tough one. That, as I say all the time, that makes for the best throwdown. Here's Jason in Ohio. Jason, go ahead.
Hey, Eddie, how you doing, brother?
All right, Jason, what's your pick?
I'm going to go with Tesla.
All right, anything you want to say or just put you down for Tesla?
Just put me down for Tesla because they got some good songs, and I tell you what, this is a brutal throwdown, and I'm like, this is a good throwdown.
That's the idea.
And I'm still laughing about what you said about that bison story. I'm like, what? So
Did you see it?
no, I ain't saw it yet.
Oh, my gosh. Just Google it. It'll come up in 2 seconds. Thank you, Jason. I'm glad I brought it up. I figured the world had seen it. It was out yesterday. It was around. I'm telling you, you can't not laugh. Like, first you're like, whoa, and then you're like, you laugh, but you feel bad laughing because this guy's like, looks like he's a 65, 70-year-old guy flying in the air. But according to Joel, he did break some bones, but he's, thank God, I don't believe seriously hurt. Brian, 2-0 Tesla out of the gate. That is surprising. Brian in New Jersey. Go ahead, Brian.
What's up, Ed?
Hey, Brian.
These two albums were in normal rotation in my cassette deck in my car. I love both of them, and I think Cinderella is a lot more rock, especially because their look on the album cover was not that. But they were a rock band. Always have been, always will be. But in this case, I will take Tesla.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Brian. 3-0 out of the gate. This is, now again, we're very early in, but I did not expect this so far. When you look, throwing out the image of both bands, when you just listen to the music, I mean, to me, like, they're both bluesy hard rock bands. I don't know. Tesla had a little bit more of, more of a throwback, organic kind of 70s vibe, I think. Where Cinderella had just, sonically it was very different. Because it was thicker. There was just a different thing to it. I mean, obviously, Tom's vocals had that certain grit to it. They're both great. But I think Cinderella was more of the era, if you will. Certainly visually, but to some degree musically. And Tesla was a little bit more of a throwback, actually, to Aerosmith and to stuff like that. Definitely felt more 70s rooted. I don't know if I'm describing that right, but here's Reed in Iowa. Hey, Reed, go ahead.
Hey, Eddie. Hey, thank you for taking my call. Hey, real quick,
Sure.
Who was that you had a guy on a couple months ago, he had a daughter that battled autism. I cannot remember who that was. And what band he was from. The reason I say it, because I also have a daughter who battles autism and a PANS condition, and that's just
yes. It was Reed. It was Russell Allen, who sings in Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Symphony X, and he was on promoting a song about his daughter for autism awareness.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. That was great.
Yes,
and like
well,
I
thank
said, my
you.
daughter too, and there needs more attention brought to different conditions out there.
Yes,
real
and
quick,
best
though,
to your daughter.
again, thank you. I listened to Mechanical Resonance this morning. I know Night Songs inside and out because, well, if I'm being honest with you, this is a pretty biased question, that Cinderella is the all-around best band ever to walk the face of the earth. And just the power of Night Songs, Nobody's Fool, and Somebody Save Me, it's Night Songs all the way. Not taking anything away from Tesla, but Cinderella.
All right. We got our first entry on the Cinderella side of the ledger. Thank you for that, Reed. Appreciate it very much. I want to check something on Cinderella. We know, yeah, okay. So the album was Tom, Jeff, Eric Brittingham. And again, Fred Coury is pictured on the cover, did not play on the record. The drums were cut by Jody Cortez, who I believe the story there, he had been in the previous version of Cinderella, and the record was pretty much done, and then he didn't want to do it, he didn't want to stay in the band or what have you, and ended up leaving, and then Fred came in for the photos, and the videos, of course, but didn't actually play on the record. Cortez played drums on Cinderella's 86 debut after the band's previous drummer, Jim Demick, was unable to complete the drum parts in studio and was fired. Fred Coury would later be hired as the band's permanent drummer, though never an official member of Cinderella. The earliest pressing of Night Songs features a photo of Cortez on the back cover, though Coury was pictured on the album's front cover and listed as a band member in the liner notes. Wow, that's interesting. Let's go to Delaware. Here's Ken with his pick. Go ahead, Ken.
Hey, Eddie, thank you for taking my call.
Sure thing.
Interesting that you picked this album today because it's actually the 5th anniversary of the passing of Jeff.
Oh, is that right? I didn't realize this. We lost him 5 years ago, huh? Oh, wow. Well, rest in peace, Jeff LaBar. I did not even put that together.
But I got to go with Cinderella. That voice, Tom Kiefer, all the way. And I'm a little embarrassed to say I didn't really get into Tesla until the '90s, with when they came out with the show that they did in Philly.
Well, better late than never. I mean, early '90s or late '90s?
I think it was early '90s. Whatever. What was that album called, by the way?
Psychotic Supper?
No, the one with Sign, the live album.
Oh, Acoustic Jam, 5-man.
Yeah. So, that's where they kind of came on my radar. I'm embarrassed to say, but like you said, better late than never.
Yeah, all good, Ken. Yeah, well, look, a lot of people got turned on to them with that version of Signs. It's probably the biggest Tesla song is Signs, that and maybe Love Song. Neither of them are on this first record, but Signs, and Signs obviously is a cover. It's weird because I'm a huge Tesla fan, as most people know. But I actually, that's the one record I don't listen to, and I didn't listen to, and I was not in, was the acoustic record. Acoustic record was huge, and in some ways touched off the whole MTV Unplugged thing. But I always like my Tesla revved up with 2 guitars in your face. So I was never really into that record. Here's Robert in Springfield, Mass. Go ahead, Robert.
Hi, Eddie. Cinderella.
Cinderella's your pick?
Yeah, I didn't even know who they were. I saw them open up for Bon Jovi one time. I didn't even know the album was out. They smoked Bon Jovi, and I went out and got the CD the next day.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Both bands had big opening opportunities early on. Cinderella, as you mentioned, had that alliance with Bon Jovi. John appeared in the videos. John inspired the A&R guy who has been on this show, Derek Schulman, who signed them to go see them and had a hand in getting them signed. John and Richie Sambora appeared in the video for Somebody Save Me. Obviously, Cinderella opened some shows, so that was a big thing, a big alignment certainly back then. But Tesla, they had an alignment with Def Leppard, where they went out and opened shows for Def Leppard and had the same management at the time as Def Leppard as well. So there was that connection. So you could kind of say Cinderella had the support of Bon Jovi. Tesla had, in some ways, the support of Def Leppard, although Def Leppard had nothing to do with Tesla, being signed or anything like that. Cinderella and Bon Jovi also on the same record label. Tesla, Def Leppard were not. Al in Tampa. Go ahead, Al.
Hey, Eddie. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, Al. What's going on, bud?
Yeah, so the way I usually tackle the album versus album is my friends and I, we always do podcasts where we do like the same kind of thing, but we do them track versus track. So what I did is I just chopped the 2 tracks off the end of Tesla, and I went down track by track, track 1 versus track 1, 2 versus 2, like that. Because sometimes when you look at an album, you can look at these 2 albums and like, oh, well, Cinderella is my favorite. But when you go track by track, sometimes it tells a different story. You know what I mean? Like you pit the tracks against each other. So love both albums, but Tesla actually beat out Cinderella 7-3 when I went track by track.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I know people that do that, where you A-B the tracks and you just basically, say, okay, which song is better, and then you end up with, what you end up with when you do it that way. I know that's a different approach.
Yeah, that's the approach that I take. But, Tesla beats out Cinderella for me. But I love both albums, man. But
so when you did that, as you mentioned, when you do that, because it's not an equal amount of tracks on these records, because Tesla has 12 songs, so you still have to give Tesla the nod, and you're disregarding Cover Queen and Before My Eyes, which are both pretty good songs. So that's another statement for you.
Yeah, usually when my friends and I, when we do album versus albums, we usually try to pick 2 albums that have the same amount of tracks. We try to line them up. But in this case, I had to chop the last 2 tracks off. So, I mean, it's still, as I went down the line, I picked more Tesla songs than the Cinderella songs. But both albums are great. It's hard doing this, but it's great.
Of course. Of course. That makes them good. Thank you, Al. Appreciate it. So there's Al's process. Getting into it, he thought he was going to go with Cinderella. And then he realized when he went track for track that he actually liked the Tesla songs 7-2 or whatever he said, 7-3. So now he's giving the nod to Tesla. Darren in Pittsburgh. Hey, Darren.
Hey, great throwdown. I agree with you about like sort of the production and the feel of the albums. But when I listen to Night Songs, I hear a lot of Aerosmith rocks in it, especially some of the deeper cuts. I was on there, Cinderella early, saw them on the Bon Jovi tour. I didn't get into Tesla until the next album, The Great Radio Controversy. Both great albums. Never saw Tesla. I'm actually going to see them this Friday. They open up the tour with Motley Crue here in Pittsburgh. But my vote is for Night Songs, Cinderella.
All right. Thank you, Darren. We'll put you down for Night Songs. Yeah, well, the other thing about this is obviously in Tesla, you can still go see them. Still 3/5 of the original lineup, and as he mentioned, always touring and about to go out in the support slot for Motley Crue. Cinderella, no longer active. Sadly, Jeff LaBar passed away, as we just realized 5 years ago today. But you can, of course, see Tom Kiefer and his solo band, which does a lot of these songs still in the live set. And of course, Tom was the voice, guitar, and songwriter of this stuff. So you still have the opportunity for both of these records to hear material live from them if you go to see these bands. But that's another interesting thing to look at real quick. So if you go see Tesla, you're definitely going to get Modern Day Cowboy And you're definitely going to get Little Susie, which is probably my least favorite song on this record and is actually a cover. But outside of that, when you look at this, the first album from Tesla in their live set, the only two you're definitely going to get would be Little Susie and Modern Day Cowboy if you go see them live. You might get, I mean, they played Love Me recently. They have played Coming At You Live. They've opened with it. They've done Changes a bunch. Great song. But those are the two staples in the live set from this record. Again, Cinderella, not active, but Kiefer is. If you go see Tom, you know you're going to get Night Songs, Shake Me, Nobody's Fool. I mean, those are the three locks. Maybe get Somebody Save Me. Yeah. So basically, the Tesla record has two locks that are still in the live set. I think when you look at Cinderella, looking at Kiefer solo, there's three. If you look at Tom as a solo artist, basically doing Cinderella. Here's JJ in Oklahoma. Go ahead, JJ.
Hey, Eddie, how you doing? Oh, I would pick Cinderella, not even close.
Just preference or?
For me, it has to be half visual, half audio, and I don't really care to see guys playing music. I look like my dad. I want to see a rock show up there.
You prefer to see guys that look like girls.
You can say that. Hey, and I have one quick question for you. What happened on Friday? People were saying you were checked out for the summer. You were pulling a Howard Stern. I was like, no. Please let me come back on Monday.
No. I didn't go. I wasn't going anywhere. Thank you, JJ. We will put you down for Cinderella. And I'm joking about the guys looking like girls, but not now. But if you look at the cover of the first Cinderella album, again, they were all glammed out. So he's talking about the difference in the look. The Friday, I will address. I'm not going to get into the Friday thing now because we're in the middle of this throwdown thing. But I'll tell you guys, in the next couple of days what we're doing on Fridays. But yes, I was off. We'll leave it at that for right now because we're in the middle of something. But I was off. Here is. James in Chicago. Go ahead, James.
Hey, Eddie. Thanks for taking my call. For me, tough choice, but at the end of the day, it's Tesla of Mechanical Resonance. Just overall, it's a harder edge album. There's something real and raw about that album that just spoke to me more than Cinderella. And the guitar work of Tommy and Jeff, Tommy and Frank. It just speaks, just at a different level to me than Cinderella. It's just incredible. So, yeah, for me, it's Tesla.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, it is different. And thank you, James. It is different. I mean, and that is there were two guitar players on Cinderella as well, Tom and Jeff. But Tesla utilized the dual guitar thing maybe a little bit more with Tommy and Frank. I'm not sure. It's just different. And sonically, it's very different too. Now, it's interesting because Brian Weed has told me he does not like the sound of the first Tesla album. He feels there's way too much reverb on it, and he'd love to remix it. Not that they're going to, but I still feel it had more of a. I feel like Cinderella album was visually, sonically more of its time. 1986, whereas the Tesla record was a little bit more rooted in 1976. By the way, for those that are watching and care about the World Cup, which is in the home stretch, one of the finals, I guess the winner of this is one of the two finalists playing in the championship, and Spain is currently winning 1-0 over France at the start of the second half. I'm not super into this, but you can't really not know what's going on with it, with how big it is. and being played here in America, of course. Jim in Atlanta. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Eddie. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, Jim.
I actually got to see both bands when they were both touring with those albums. I saw Cinderella with Bon Jovi and Tesla with, of course, Def Leppard. And they were both different styles, but I tell you what, I loved seeing Tesla play on that huge stage. They had the whole stage, and they used every drop of it. And Cinderella, when they came out, I didn't think they were going to be a big jump. Everybody was in their seat for them, and they rolled it. It was amazing. But I have to go with Tesla. Tesla's always been one of my favorite bands, and I've enjoyed them so much over the years. Everything they put out is terrific. Thanks for taking my call, Eddie. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. When you look at the longevity of the bands, Tesla, both bands were inactive for a long time. Again, the Great Wall coming down will do that for all these bands, no matter how big they were. When you look at the longevity, though, the Cinderella sample size is smaller overall. Again, none of this has anything to do with the battle of these two debut records, but just looking overall at the two bands. Tesla also did break up for a good period of time, but then came back together in 2000 and has been active ever since, initially coming back together with the original lineup. Then Tommy was out, and then a few years ago, of course, Troy has been out. But Cinderella never really reunited. Well, they did. They did whatever it was 10 years ago, and they did do some stuff, but have not been active for probably about 10 years. David in Texas. Go ahead, David.
How you doing, Eddie?
Good, David.
All right. Hey, I just want to say, starting off, I am a huge Tesla fan and everything else. I grew up, I remember sitting on the elementary school playground listening to Quiet and Riot and all that. But when Cinderella came out, that hook of the very first song, I think it was Night Songs, that hook just grabbed me for some reason. So I'd have to pick Cinderella on this one, but I'm still a huge Tesla fan.
That's interesting. If you're looking at the first two tracks, you're saying Night Songs versus Modern Day Cowboy. For me, that hook of Modern Day Cowboy, that guitar riff right at the top of the song, that's what hooked me. That's where I was like, whoa, this is cool. The thing with, and thank you, David, the thing with Night Songs, though, as I said earlier when we started this, I was shocked at how heavy it was. It's not thrash metal, but that's heavy for its time. It's heavy and it's dark, and it is a total contrast to look at that album cover and then to hear Night Songs. You're like, wow, this is two different things here. This is not what I expected from a band looking like this on their album cover. So that was the thing I'll never forget about that record. John in Pennsylvania. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Eddie, great to talk to you again.
Thank you.
So I thought this was going to be a runaway because Tesla is my favorite band, hard rock band from the 80s. And I went back and listened to Night Songs today. And I was like, holy crap, this is really good. So I'm going with Cinderella, which I can't believe. I really thought it was going to be all Tesla.
So you personally came into this today being total Tesla, and then you went and listened to Night Songs knowing you were going to do it, and flipped you.
It did, because I knew there was like 3 or 4 songs that I really liked, but I'm like, wow, that album is really, really good.
Wow. All right, so we'll put you down for Cinderella, John. And John's from Pennsylvania. Now, I don't know where in Pennsylvania, but if he's from the Philly area, he just committed sacrilege. Because Cinderella's history is in that area. All right, let me get a break. Where are we, Joel, right now in the count?
Hang on one second. I just flipped away from it. Okay, it's Cinderella by 1.
Really?
Yeah, after that 3-0 start for Tesla, things really leveled out, and it's really just been back and forth since.
Wow, I felt like you were going to say Tesla was fairly in the lead. It felt like that from the calls, but maybe because of the way we opened. Interesting. All right, well, we still got about 40 minutes left, so let's see where we land. We'll keep working through this. I still, by the way, don't understand how the guys in Tesla didn't get some sort of payout from Elon Musk. I ask them that all the time. I still don't understand that. You got a band since 1986 working under the name Tesla, and this guy comes out with his car, the same exact name, and you don't have to get paid out on that? They would have had a copyright on the name. But I think because Tesla is actually a person's name, I don't know. Brian always says to me it's because it's different usage, but I don't know. I still think they should at least get a free car each. Elon's the richest man in the world. Like, you can flip him a vehicle. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue on what is shaping up to be a very, very good throwdown on this Tuesday edition of Trunk Nation. And more of your picks, more of your calls. Night Songs versus Mechanical Resonance. Coming right back after this. Attention rock fans and Kiss Army, start packing for Vegas because now's your chance to meet Gene Simmons and other rock icons at the Legends of Rock Expo, happening September 25th through 27th at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. More than 30 rock legends will be hanging out all in one place, from Gene Simmons and 3 other members of Kiss to Stuart Copeland of The Police, Geezer Butler of Black Sabbath, Dave Davies of The Kinks, and Jerry Sheff from Elvis's TCB Band, and many, many more. It's your exclusive backstage pass to autographs, photo ops, live panels, collectibles, and merch, plus 11 live bands performing throughout the weekend. The Legends of Rock Expo. It's open to the public, and tickets are on sale now at legendsofrockexpo.com, or you can purchase tickets at the door. Get ready to rock with Gene Simmons and friends at the Legends of Rock Expo, September 25 through 27 at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino.
And now, more hard rock and metal talk.
Oh, man. This is metal.
Trunk Nation.
You didn't know before, you will now.
With host Eddie Trunk.
I'm raging against the machine.
Sirius XM's Faction Talk.
They're going to love it.
All right. Great throwdown going on. Let's get right back to it. We got a good amount of time here to see where this all ends up. Cinderella Night Songs versus Tesla Mechanical Resonance. Back to the phones. We go to our first female perspective. Here's Diane in Minneapolis. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Eddie. Tesla is my vote because Tesla is my favorite band.
So that's it. Just put it down for Tesla because they're your favorite band. That's it. That's easy. It's an easy way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much, Diane. Diane, just short and sweet, weighing in. Tesla's her favorite band, so she's going Tesla. Here's Mark in San Antonio. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Ed. What's up, bud?
Hey, man.
So, man, I'm taking Tesla all the way. Both of them are some of my favorite debut hard rock albums ever. Both albums are solid. But, dude, when I discovered Tesla opening up for Def Leppard on the Hysteria tour, didn't know who they were, and they opened up, they had an impact on us so much that, and of course, we're like in 8th grade, but we skipped school the next day, rode our bikes to Camelot Music, bought the cassette of Mechanical, went home, listened to it, and tried the rest of the day to mimic some of those riffs. So, and you always remember, man, that some of your best bands, you remember that first time discovering them, and ever since then, it's been a huge love fest with Tesla. So put me down for Tesla all the way.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Yeah, well, I told you guys that I talk every, of course, both of these bands have become, great friends over the decades, especially the Tesla guys. I talk to them, talk on the phone, see them all the time. They've been on the shows a million times. And anytime I'm at their shows, they always ask me to introduce them. And a lot of times when I do, I tell that story about first hearing them and seeing them with Modern Day Cowboy on MTV because it was very, very impactful. Spain up 2-0 now over France, for those that care. Here is Mike in Colorado. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Father Trunk.
Mike, what do you got? What's your pick?
Cinderella.
Cinderella?
Yes, Father Trunk.
All right, Mike. Thank you, Mike. We'll put you down for... Father Trunk will put you down for Cinderella. Thank you. Here's David. Here's David in North Dakota. Go ahead, David.
Father Trunk. You have some really colorful callers, Eddie, for sure.
Always.
But I'm going to go with Cinderella. You know, it's funny, they were telling stories, and that one guy said he'd skipped school, and that's exactly what we did. And we'd hang out in the parking lot and do things we shouldn't have done, and wait for the concert to start. And I don't know, maybe it was just the songs of the time. Maybe they hit us differently, the Cinderella. But instead of Tesla, I don't know. Maybe they came to visit a little more. In fact, they did. They visited the Dakotas a little bit more than I think Tesla did. So that's probably why I'm going for Cinderella at this time.
All right, David, we'll put you down for night songs. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Thought you were done. Thank you. Monica in Phoenix. Hey, Monica.
Oh, hey, Eddie. You know, we're only 62 days away from your Super Bowl.
Trust me, I am counting the days. Trust
62
me.
days, Daddy. And just
Sunday
just
night
so
can't
know,
come. Sunday night can't come quick enough.
And just so you know, the underdog is your team, right? You do know that the Giants.
They already have a line on the football games.
Of course. I mean, yeah. I mean,
really?
It's only obvious y'all are the underdog. I mean, come on, Eddie.
Well, I'm not worried about that, but I can't believe there's a line out that far in advance.
I was curious, and I was just looking to see and apparently, I think it's doing like your basic 1.5, I believe, or something like that.
Wow. All right. Well, anyway, Monica, that's for another time. What's your pick between these two
let
records?
me get it. Okay, so I thought this was going to be an easy one for me. Then I started looking at the Tesla album. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. However, I am going to go with Cinderella. I think I compared the ballad to See Nobody's Fool. I think I like it a little bit more over than We're No Good. And I don't know. I love Back Home Again and Nothing for Nothing. And visually, I like Cinderella better. And they had the better album cover. So my pick is for Cinderella, Eddie.
All right, Monica, thank you very much. Appreciate your call. Monica, already rattling my cage, over 60 days away from the Giants and Cowboys. That's crazy that you can bet the games this soon because, you don't know what happens during training camp. You don't know if somebody gets hurt. You don't know if they make a trade or something. I guess, that's could go either way if you're going to take action. Not that I'm betting it, but I can't believe there's a line already. Lynn in Niagara Falls. Hey, Lynn.
Hello, Eddie.
Hey, Lynn. Good to get some women calling in, different perspectives. So what are you thinking here?
Oh, I had to call in on this one because these are two of my absolute favorite bands of that era. But I am a huge fan of Cinderella, so I'm going with them.
Any other reason? I mean, is that the record you go to more often now than the other one?
Always. I mean, I have just loved Cinderella since ever they came out. And same with Tesla, but tough. But Cinderella and Tom Kiefer, I will never not go see them anytime they come around. They're just, I would have to say they're my favorite band of that era. So that's why I'm going with them.
All right, Lynn, we got you down for Cinderella. Thank you for your call. Here's Gary in New Jersey. Go ahead, Gary.
Hey, Eddie. How's it going, man?
Good, man.
I like both bands, but I'm gonna have to pick Tesla because the first time I saw them, they were a fill-in band opening up for David Lee Roth at the Meadowlands Arena. And when they opened up with Coming At You Live, it just blew me the fuck away, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, Gary. I was probably at that show myself as well. Thank you for the call. Giants are getting 2.5 at home opening with the Cowboys. 48.5 over under. It's crazy. Who the hell's betting 62 days before the game? It's probably the same people who bet on preseason. That's hardcore. Dave in Wisconsin. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Eddie, I got Mechanical Resonance edging it out by just a little bit. I think back in the day, it would have beat it by a lot, and I think I unfairly dismissed Night Songs a little bit because it was the era of what I call the ridiculous album cover, or at least ridiculously dressed album covers. But then later on, Long Cold Winter became one of my favorite albums of all time. But I think between those two, it would be Mechanical Resonance just by a little bit. I think it's just a little bit better album all the way through.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. Yeah, a lot is made of the album cover for Night Songs. And our friend Mark Weiss took that photo, by the way. He's talked about it on the show. And to me, it's just, it's very of 1986, obviously, how they look. But again, musically, it's so different. And the band, responded to it immediately because on the next record, on Long Cold Winter, there was nothing on the album cover. They didn't even put themselves on the album cover because, and then they changed. They reduced their look greatly and went to a basic rock look at the time. But yeah, that was a huge, look, obviously it didn't hurt the band at all in the moment. It probably, now you think about it, it probably did hurt the band in the early mid-90s because, well, then again, it didn't matter. If he had long hair and he made a record in the 80s, he got killed in the 90s. But still, it did kind of paint them into a certain look and visual because of that first record cover that they did try very hard to distance themselves from starting on the second record. Jim in New Mexico. Hey, Jim.
Who in the hell would be betting on the Cowboys this far out?
Who would be betting on anybody 60 days out? It's crazy, but people do.
Yeah. I've been a Cowboy fan my whole life, but they ain't winning.
You don't think they're winning?
1992 was a long time ago.
Oh, I thought you meant that opening game. You mean in general? All right. Well, I'm from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, I've been a Cowboy fan my whole life. I don't think they win the opening game, but I'm going Tesla all the way.
All right. Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. We're getting football stuff in July. And Jim, I've been a Cowboy hater my whole life, so I hope you're right. Let's go to Iowa. Here's Matt. Hey, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, Eddie. First off, I want to fill you in a little bit on our friend Gene from Long Island. He was the guy that started the Fans of Trunk Nation page and then asked me to become the admin a couple of years ago. But he's getting better. He's treating, and he's getting better, and he's stronger, and he's posting, and it's good to hear from him.
I saw that. I thought I saw something flash on Facebook, a post from him. So that's wonderful, wonderful news. Get well, Gene. Keep fighting, man. That is great to hear. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, he's a great man. Beyond his musical tastes, he's just a top-notch guy. I got to put in my vote, and it's not by a lot, but I'm going to go with Cinderella. I saw them open for Bon Jovi in 1987, and the coolest thing about that show, Eddie, was for the encore, Cinderella and Bon Jovi came out, and the guys from Cheap Trick joined them, and they jammed a couple of Led Zeppelin songs. It was fantastic.
Where was this? What city?
The Rockford, Illinois Metro Center, which was a hopping place in the 80s. Saw a lot of bands, about 40 miles from my hometown. Cheap Trick played my high school gym when I was a kid. That's how close we were. I also want to point out that 5 years ago, we lost Jeff LaBar. I don't know if you said that already because I've been on hold, but
yes, it did come up. It did come up earlier in the show today, and I didn't I actually had no connection to doing this with that at all. I didn't realize it until a couple callers brought it up. So yes,
yeah,
rest
what
in
an
peace,
odd coincidence,
Jeff.
Huh?
Totally
yeah.
odd coincidence.
Yes,
yeah.
Cinderella's a little bit bluesier. I was looking at the set or at the song list, and I think they might have had a little more airplay and FaceTime on MTV at the time. But I'm going with Cinderella because I'm a blues fan, and they're really blues based. I need to see Kiefer again.
Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yep. Well, Matt obviously tuned into the show late because we talked about that, Matt. looking at sales, it's Cinderella by a wide margin in terms of sales. The Tesla album was certified in 1989, 3 years after it came out. It was certified at 1 million copies. The Cinderella album, also not recertified, meaning not recounted in over 30 years, at the time was certified at 3 million copies. So there's a big disparity in sales. One record was way bigger than the other. And again, you've got to figure Night Songs at least at 4 million, and say Mechanical Resonance is probably close to 2 now. Here's Nick in California. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, what's up, Eddie?
Hey, Nick.
I gotta go Night Songs. Look at the track listing. I don't see any skips here. What do you think?
Well, I don't, but I have very few skips on Mechanical Resonance. So, okay. That's why I think this is tough, because I love Mechanical Resonance. Now here's the other thing to look at this. Mechanical Resonance is probably not my favorite Tesla record, and Night Songs is probably not my favorite Cinderella record. Probably in both cases, it would be the second record for both bands. Probably Great Radio Controversy and probably Long Cold Winter. So that's another interesting thing about this. I wouldn't say either of these records are either artist's best record, although obviously Night Songs did way better. So what are you picking, Nick?
Cinderella record. Yeah, it's my favorite Cinderella record. I love Push Push. I like the deep tracks, actually. What else? Hell on Wheels.
Once You're on the Ride.
For Nothing. Yes. Back Home Again. Oh my God. Yeah, this one kicks Tesla's ass. I'm sorry. And also, before I go, fuck the Dallas Cowboys. Have a good day.
So hey, Nick. Monica, you started this, by the way. I did not go down the football path. I didn't bring any of this up. Monica started it. Let the record show that. What was he picking? Cinderella. He picked Cinderella, right, Joel?
Yeah, he picked Cinderella.
All right. I trust me. I nobody is more geeked up for football than I am, but I don't. It's July 14th, so we got a couple months. Here's Leslie in Michigan. Hey, Leslie.
What up, Joe? Tesla, Modern Day Cowboy was the first video me and my mom saw together. Why, you ask? Well, she likes country and western movies, and that took a liking to her. So a friend gave me the cassette, and I still have it to this day, and I do have the CD. Love you, Tesla. Hope to see you Monday.
There's Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. Put Leslie down for Tesla, it sounded like. Let's go to Tennessee. Here's Steve. Steven, go ahead.
Hey, Eddie. We definitely have something in common. I've hated the Cowboys my whole life, too. But on to other things. My first concert ever was Great White and Whitesnake. So I had a pretty high threshold or expectation for live concerts, seeing Jack Russell and David Coverdale first. So then I've seen a bunch of concerts after that. It's kind of, this ain't quite the same until I saw Cinderella live in 89, 88. And ever since then, I'm like, that's the best live-sounding band I've ever heard. And then I saw Tom Keefe earlier this year in Nashville. He's still great. So mine is definitely for Cinderella.
When you saw Cinderella for that first time live, were they on their own or were they opening for someone?
They were opening for Poison in Memphis at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Gotcha.
All
right.
Well, blew them away. And Eddie, one other thing, if I can.
Yeah.
On a throwdown, or not a throwdown, but a best of, whatever you got to do, whatever. We need the top 10 Eddie rants. And we got to get it on there sometime. Because that's the best thing on here is when you hit your rants. I know they're working on it. I know it take a while to do it, but we have got to get the best top 10 Eddie rants.
You mean a call-in show of that, or actually hearing them again?
No. Yes, actually hearing them again.
Oh, well, thank you, Stephen, for the call. That would be up to Joel. I don't know if he has marked those down and is able to compile something like that for a potential best of, but I don't know. It's been a little while since I had one. And you never know when they're going to happen because they're always unscripted. But I appreciate that people appreciate them so much. And whether Joel edits that together, if he has time, maybe, Joel, you should spend the whole weekend doing that, I think.
Yeah, I like when callers give me work. It's really nice.
Matthew in North Carolina. What's up, Matthew?
Hey, Eddie, what's going on? I've got to go with Cinderella.
All right. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, well, you know, at this stage in my life, I probably like both bands pretty equally. I love them both tremendously. But when they first came out, I think it was Tom's vocal style, and then of course had just how blues based it was, that the Cinderella just grabbed me and Tesla has become more of an acquired taste over time.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you very much, Matthew. Yeah, I mean, look, Tom's vocal is extremely distinct, and you know it when you hear it, and was pretty unique for its time, just in that grit and that gravel that he brought to it, and still does bring. I mean, it's remarkable how good Tom still is, as we've talked about many times. But to me, and yes, there's a bluesy element to it, but there's also a very bluesy element to the Tesla record. But to me, I think the big difference is in the production. Andy Johns produced the first Cinderella record. For those that don't know and don't follow these people and who they are, and Andy passed away a number of years ago, but Andy Johns was an engineer on Led Zeppelin records. So, you know, that he was a very accomplished guy. Now, the Tesla record was produced by this team of Thompson Barbiero, who would go on off of the success of Tesla to have a lot of success working on a lot of records, predominantly mixing records. They're the guys behind And Justice for All, by the way. Remember, Tesla was in the same management camp at the time as Metallica, Def Leppard, Queensryche. Who else was part of that whole Q Prime world back then? I'm trying to remember. But there were others. You know, they were like, you know, part of that world. But I think sonically they're very different sounding records, but I do think they're very bluesy. It's funny because when I told that story about first seeing the Cinderella record and I didn't listen to it immediately, the people that I kept hearing from said, you got to listen to it. They sound just like AC/DC. That was the big comparison that I kept getting when that record first came out, that people were saying to me. Sean in Connecticut. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, hey, Eddie. Another fun throwdown and a lot of fun calls coming in.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Tesla. Both great albums. Seen them both back in the day. I remember listening to Mechanical Resonance a lot with my sister, and we thought a song like Coming At You Live on the debut record, when they probably hadn't had many shows, at least, you know, big time after they released their first record, we thought, well, they better bring it live. And when we saw them, they certainly did. I know a lot of people are bringing up the live experience too on those, which is great. But I would also say one thing we used to joke about, my sister and I, that Shake Me, although we love that album, we thought it was a little bit of a rip-off of AC/DC, Shook You All Night Long with the Shake Me All Night. So we kind of still joke about it today. But got to go Mechanical Resonance all the way.
All right, Sean,
Great
we'll put
life.
you down for Tesla. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a heavy AC/DC comparison I remember on Cinderella. 844-686-5863 in the home stretch now as we continue to shape this on what has been a great throwdown day today. Night Songs versus Mechanical Resonance. Here's Sandra in Georgia next up. Sandra, go ahead.
Hey, Eddie, it's actually Chandra, but that's okay. I wanted to let you know that I've been a big fan of yours for a long time, listen to you every day. And Tom Kiefer is my absolute favorite of all time. And I'm going to have to go with Cinderella.
Thank you very much, and thank you for listening every day, and thank you for calling in. There's a vote for Cinderella. Here's Albert in California next up. Albert, go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. How you doing, Eddie? And all you
Good,
metalheads out there, hey, I'm going to be that guy. I am the promoter. You guys all want to do this throwdown. I'm here for title fights. I'm here for a title fight. And when you go for the title fight, you go for the throat, you go for the big picture. And the big picture is Tesla. Tesla. Tesla, when you put them both up on the screen, all you see is Tesla. And, you know, hey, Cinderella, they're formidable mention. They're on honorable mention, should I say. They were good at, you know, what they did. But, hey, look around. You're going to see Tesla before you even see, and I get it. No disrespect to the member that passed away, but you're going to see Tesla live than you would Cinderella. So,
well,
anyway, okay, go ahead.
Well, no, Albert, we'll put you down for Tesla, and I'm just going.
Okay, but
sorry, Albert. I'm sorry. I was trying to move on to get as many people in at the end here as we can, but I did not mean to cut you off, Albert. Thank you. But again, when you guys look at this stuff, you're looking at it purely from two records. Which record do you like better? Which record do you still listen to more? Which record held up better? The other stuff gets thrown out. Yes, we know Cinderella does not currently exist. We know Tesla does. We know that, you know, if you want to have the live experience at the time come into your vote, that's up to you, but that's not really relevant either. To me, when you look at this, you just look at the two albums purely as albums, what you listen to the most, what you like the most, what's held up the best. That really should be the only criteria, but, you know, other people just can't help other aspects. He was getting ready to put him in an octagon over there. Here's Cody in Ohio. Go ahead, Cody.
Hey, Eddie, thanks for taking my call in my car. Hope I'm coming through okay.
Yep, we got you. All good.
Okay. Man, this is a tough one. This ranks right up there with the Rocks album versus the Kiss album you did. I got to give the lean to Tesla just because they were probably the first of the two I saw as an opener back in the mid-'80s, where you'd get a bill like Warrant headlining and Tesla and Great White were opening, or some of that crazy stuff for a $15 ticket. But in the last learning to play the guitar, and I got to tell you, with the passing of Jeff LeVar, that speaks for itself. He was phenomenal. So underrated. Unbelievable. I'm leaning more on those guys' influences, and I never thought I would have. But I still got to give the lean to Tesla. Seen them both live recently, and they both sound just like they did on the albums in '85 and '86. It's good to still have that with what we're seeing on some of these shows that people are unfortunately still paying for, and it's not
Cody,
real, just gone.
100%, Cody. Thank you. I agree 100%. Thank you, Cody. Your phone was getting wonky there for a second. Put Cody down for Tesla, and yes, that's a great point Cody makes. Again, you're looking at Tom Kiefer's solo as Cinderella today because that's what you have. And then you look at Tesla today. And again, this shouldn't be relevant on the two albums, but if we're just for the purposes of conversation, yes, both bands phenomenal. Both bands proudly 100% live. Here's Matt in Florida. Go ahead, Matt.
Eddie, how are you doing, my brother?
All right.
The last time I talked to you, I told the story about Van Halen and smoking pot with my mom for the first time. So I don't know if you remembered me.
How could I forget that?
Yeah. I recently saw, like a few months back, we saw them in Florida down here, Fort Pierce, and I saw Tesla, and that was like the third or fourth time I've seen them live. I saw them back in the day. They sounded great. Great show, great everything, completely 100% live. But I never got to see Cinderella headline, but I saw them open up like 3 or 4 times, like Aerosmith, Poison, anyway. And my God, that I have to vote for Cinderella, because I tell you what, that first record, you know, you've got those 10 records that you have that you never have to skip a song. And it's in my top 10 as far as I just put the record in and just let it play. What a great band. What a great vocal. What a great guitar. What a great everything. Great band. But you're right about when you see the cover, you think they're going to sound like poppy, like maybe Bon Jovi or something. No dib on Bon Jovi, but when you see it, you look at it and go, man, there's no way. And when that first song starts on Night Songs, it's like, damn, these guys, it was completely different than the image that the record company put out there. And Tom's vocal is awesome. And one more thing before I let you go, I know you got a lot of people. I'm from Dallas-Fort Worth. What about your Cowboys?
Thank you, Matt. At least Matt's from the area and he's a Cowboys fan. I mean, it's, you know, nothing worse than you get these people. Yeah, I'm from Florida. I'm a big cow. What? Why? Oh, it's America's team. Oh, really? Why are people getting me started 60 days out? Justin in Minnesota. Go ahead, Justin.
Hey, Eddie, I'm going to stay on topic, but just real quick, that Sky King doc. I've been on that case for a few years, not on the case, but I've been kind of obsessed with it even before the doc came out. Just a really important point. He actually was not shot down. It is documented. There were certainly discussions. Jets were scrambled, but they actually made the decision to not shoot him down. He was so remote. And if he was more populated, I'm sure he undoubtedly would have been, perhaps, but he was very remote.
So he just crashed it. He just ended up crashing it, into water?
Yeah, like he almost, no, it was actually on an island.
Because, they never said that in the doc. They kind of made it sound like they took him down.
Right. Yeah. He was so remote. It was an uninhabited island, and it's almost like, just like you said earlier in the doc, where he's talking to the guy, and he's like, I figure I'll just kind of run out of fuel and just kind of nose down, and pretty much that's exactly what happened. So, yeah. And I mean, fascinating anyway. But for me, Cinderella, 100%. I'm certainly biased. I was 9 at the time. In '86, my first 3 cassettes I was given was AC/DC, Who Made Who, Invasion of Your Privacy by Rat, and Cinderella. And I just listened to all of them like crazy. And even to this day, if I put on that album, I'll listen to the whole thing top to bottom. There's really nothing, not a skip for me. Whereas Tesla, although I appreciate the album, and Modern Day Cowboy is absolutely just a killer track, I do find myself skipping a few of those tracks. So just for that reason, I'm Cinderella.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Justin's referencing a documentary I brought up the other day called Sky King. If you're interested, it's a pretty wild story. I watched one last night called The Volcano that's a few years old on Netflix about these people that tour a volcano island, get caught on it. People died, seriously burned. It's crazy. That's on Netflix, too, if that sounds interesting to you. Kenny in Pennsylvania. Go ahead, Kenny.
Hey, this is Kenny in Pennsylvania, and I'm definitely voting Tesla all the way. I love the song Modern Day Cowboy, and I also love the Modern Day Cowboy, Dak Prescott. Go Cowboys.
Thank you, Kenny. Here's Aaron in Mississippi. Hey, Aaron.
What's up? What's up, Eddie? First time, long time.
Thank you. What's your pick?
I'm going Tesla all the way.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. We're moving quick here because we're almost out of time. Nate in Florida. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Sebastian. I'm going Cinderella. Song for song. It just...
Oh, sorry, Nate. Thank you. Thought you were done. Alan in New York. Go ahead, Alan.
Keep it quick, Cinderella, just because it was the first one I bought. They're both great. Cinderella, though.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Here's Haas in Illinois. Go ahead, Haas.
Hey, Eddie. Yeah, thanks for squeezing me in. I'm really surprised at how this voting is going. I had to call in to get Cinderella in for me. Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you, Haas. We'll put you down for Cinderella. Mike in Michigan. What do you got, Mike?
Hey, Modern Day Cowboys blew me away the first time I heard it, but it's Cinderella.
Put you down for Cinderella. Joel, what is the count?
Cinderella's taking it. It took it with 5 votes. It was neck and neck right up until the end there.
Really? God, it felt way closer. I thought you were going to say it was like tied. Cinderella by 5.
Yeah, it was really close right up until the end there. We just got like 3 extra votes in at the end for Cinderella, but it was like a 1 to 2 vote swing the whole way.
All right, so Cinderella wins very, very close, though, by 5 with a lot of calls that we got in. I am going to, right this minute, give me a minute or two, if you go to my Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it these days, at Eddie Trunk, I'm going to put this up as a poll. You can vote. We'll see what you have to say and the whole internet has to say. Back live tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll pick it up then. Thanks, everyone.